Somebody says, I tried for 4 years, but I never went through.
Oh, sorry.
How do I make it happen? I think this person is asking, this is for a student visa.
Yeah.
So what encouragement do we have for people who have tried many, many times, but it's not working?
So the last time we shared a story about a guy who have gone for the interview for 6 times. He went for the interview for 6 times, and on before he went for his 7th time, he contacted me. So we talked, and I listened to him, and we were able to fix some of the problems. So maybe you may have to get in touch, send us an email, let us find time to talk to see what is the actual
what's
reason?
going on,
What is going on
what's
with your
going on,
application,
yeah.
and how can you correct it?
Yeah.
How can you fix it?
Yeah.
That is very, very important.
There's usually always something that is consistently wrong with your application, or maybe you're consistently showing too much desperation and you're not able to see that thing. So it's always important that you talk to somebody. So send us an email and we'll see how we can help you. We are not able to mention names, but we'll see how we can help you with this. Yeah, I have another question. And this person says, please, I want to know if my father is my sponsor and he has agreed to sponsor me and he has the money, should he write a sponsorship letter telling the consular that he wants to sponsor me? In fact, he has a company and the company has a bank statement and documents. Do I have to still provide all of that to the embassy saying that my father is going to pay for my tuition and living expenses and all of that?
Yes, whoever is funding you must have a proof of fund, right? You must carry a document proving whatever you are saying, so that in case the consular asks you, you can give that document. So yes, you have to provide a proof of fund.
Yeah, sometimes people will ask, okay, I have sponsorship. Do I still need to provide proof of? Yes, you still need to provide proof of it. But in this case, the proof of funds is your scholarship letter, right? So whatever and wherever the source of money is coming from, you still need to prove that the source of money is available. The money is coming from somewhere. So if it is coming from the school, then your scholarship is that. If it's coming from your parent, the sponsorship letter and the bank statement is what you need. If it's coming from an employer, of course, it's the same thing. So you need to provide proof of funds regardless of where your source of money is.
And Paul, I also have a question. Does the embassy I go matter, or does the consular who interviews me matter, or there's some embassies that are better than others? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's based on a big assumption that it is easier to go some places than it is to go other places. Especially for West Africans, many people are now beginning to feel like, Ivory Coast is probably a better and an easier place. That's a myth. That's a misconception. It's a myth because the rules for getting the visa are the same everywhere you go, right? They work with the same policy. It's the same U.S. It's the same visa that is going to be granted to you. So I don't want you to believe in the fact that when you go somewhere else it is easier and when you go other places it's not easy. But you know, the other side of it is that every consular has a slightly different perspective. And that is even taken care of by the process itself. And that's why that's why when you are denied and you go a second time, the person who interviewed the first time is not going to interview you again. That's because they want another person's perspective. So there's always a little bit of a perspective issue. But generally, I think because they work with the same rules, it's pretty much the same everywhere, I would say.
I remember somebody who went to Abidjan. About 3 people went to Abidjan. They were denied last 2 months, and they were friends. I don't know whether they didn't prepare or what. They thought that, before if you go to Abidjan you'll be out. But they went and they were denied, and they came, and we have to talk to them, and now they went even to Ghana. And on the second time they were approved.
They even got it.
So it depends on your preparation.
Yeah.
Wherever you are going, you must prepare. You must make sure that you convince the consular that you meet the rules and you'll be approved. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, a lot of people are wishing us well. Thank you all. Everybody who says, I appreciate your work. The videos are great. You guys are knowledgeable. You guys are helping a lot of Africans. God bless you. Somebody says, nice one. Somebody says, thanks. Somebody says, very informative. Somebody says, I appreciate your work. Good job. All of you, God bless you. Thank you for saying all of that.
Yeah. And Paul, somebody is asking, can I use 2 people on the I-20, or can 2 people sponsor me on my I-20?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yes, for sure. You can have multiple sponsors on your I-20. If you ask me personally, I would say that's even probably the best thing, right? That's probably the best thing to do, especially if if your estimated amount is huge and you don't have one sponsor who has all that amount. It's good for maybe your mom to give you 40,000, your brother should give you 10,000, yourself you have 5,000, the school is giving you another 10,000. You put all of those sources of funds together to prove that one big amount that you have. So it is very possible, it is allowed. Many people do it. The VOs understand that, they see it, in fact they expect it. So don't be worried about that. It is done. It's credible.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
The next question that I have here is from somebody from India who is saying that I got admission from a university. I am a handicapped person, which is somebody with disability. My interview is this date. I think everybody is trying to say that maybe my disability would be an issue. What advice do you have for that? I am worried. Please help.
What? That is a big lie.
That's a big lie.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually ask that question. I don't know if you remember, but a few people, one person who stammers, one person who doesn't, going for B1 B2 visa, doesn't speak English, is going for the interview and is worried about that. Especially the stammers, those people who stutter and they are trying to ask what's going to go on. I don't think people should be worried about their
No,
disability.
the consulars do not look at disability or ability to approve who qualifies for the interview. They don't care.
Yeah.
It's like they cannot
Discriminate against you.
Discriminate against you.
Complete human being.
Yes, because you are disabled or you cannot do something. No, it's not like you cannot do something. Like they cannot just discriminate against you because of that. There is nothing. That's just a myth. That is not true. And for me, I have coached about 7 people who had some sort of disability or what, and they all got their visas.
Yeah.
Right. So it is not true, and this is a big lie. I even feel like even those people are people of minority, and those people have even high chances of getting a visa, right? Because they are minority. Sometimes in places like Africa and elsewhere, those people are abused. They have the consulars really pay attention. Tell the consular about it, that hey, this is my condition. Right. Can you give me this? Can you give me time? Can you, when you cannot speak English, or they can give you a translator. So just be yourself, and just don't let that eat you up. No, it's not true. Don't be worried.
Yeah.
Disability is never a criteria for visa approval.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of the messages are saying thank you, God bless you, and all of that. Okay, thank you all for subscribing and for saying thank you and for wishing us well. Now let's go to some more questions from emails. I think somebody says, I'm from Ghana. I went for my interview yesterday. I was denied. I was so nervous. I could not convince the consular at all. But it looks like you have some facts, you have some savings, you have employer letter, and I want you to help me. So Alfred, this goes back to the question of like nervousness and confidence, and I'm shaking, and I blacked out. I don't have any thoughts at all. I know we have a full video on confidence, right? But maybe we should refresh people a little bit about how to deal with the lack of confidence and courage and things like that.
Yes, I think that all begins with desperation, right? Majority of us go to the embassy very desperate. We are very desperate to get our visa at all costs. And that is not a bad thing, but that really puts pressure on you, right? So try to manage that. Try to manage your desperation. Getting a visa approved is not everything it is in life. Right. There are some people who even they make visa approval as a sort of blessings. It is God's blessing for you to get a visa approved. I'm not saying that God cannot bless you, but ideally, if it is not economic conditions and circumstances, bad governance and wrong decisions that some of us we take, and struggles in our life, why must getting a US visa be a blessing?
Yeah.
Like, why must it be the only thing I need to change my life? Some of us, because of social media and people already here, we share pictures and it look nice. People try to portray that study abroad or living abroad is the best thing.
Yeah.
We feel like we cannot live our dream. We cannot live our career successfully, even in our own country.
It is possible,
right? Yeah. It is really possible. And for me, I feel like sometimes that really is what is putting pressure on you. That's just right. Try to relax, see it as something that you need, but not a necessity that will transform your life. You just have to do the right thing, prepare. And one other reasons why people are desperate, people are worried because majority of the people are carrying fake documents.
Yeah.
So they are worried, they are desperate because they might be found out, they might be seen. They know that things that they are carrying, the stories are not genuine. Yeah, so some of these things really affect them and others. So I think just watch our video on how to gain confidence and all that.
Yeah, that's good. Alfred, let's go to maybe a few more questions before we wrap it up here. So I have a few questions here about if you applied for an emergency date, because right now there are no dates, right? Yeah. So if you apply for an emergency date and you were denied, can you apply again? A lot of people are asking that question. So how do we, encourage people to think about getting dates?
Yeah, that's really a good question. The problem, first of all, let us try to address the problem. The problem is that now getting a date is difficult everywhere, right? Because a lot of people are applying and the consulates do not have time and they don't have a lot of spaces, right, to accommodate everyone. However, there's options for emergency appointments, especially for students, people who are coming for funeral or medical issues. But they come with rules. When you are applying for the emergency appointment, try to check the eligibility requirement.
That's right.
Try to check the rules. Yeah. A lot of people are getting denied, but they are rushing. Yeah. Like, there are some people who are rushing. Like, your start date is August 15th.
You're applying for emergency.
What is the emergency about that?
It?
There's nothing.
August is like 5 months away.
5 months away. Take your time. Don't rush. Don't rush the process. People are too desperate. People are rushing. People are like, they cannot seem to think, and it's like, that is the process. So take your time. Take your time. Don't rush. Right? Read the rules. What are the rules? And read it. Make sure that you fall within. If at this time you are applying for emergency for a school, a program that will start in August, you will be denied because it is not an emergency. So take your time. Keep on rechecking. Take your time. Keep on checking to see if you get a favorable date. Yeah. Usually the consulates give 60 days time to apply for emergency if you are not getting a date. So try to make sure that you meet that. And there are some people too, their cases are not emergency. Yeah. Your school start date is 15th August and you have gotten a date for 1st August. Yeah. It is not an emergency. You have 2 weeks after your interview. Yeah. There are some people, even they have 3 days after the interview, they don't qualify. The consular will not approve it. No. If you get your visa, you can prepare and go within 2 weeks. Yeah. So why do you worry yourself to apply for emergency early? It is very, very important.
Yeah. So in this case, like if you are denied, I think essentially you have to try and reapply, and you will not qualify for an emergency anymore. You would have to now fall on your regular date and try and see if you can get an early regular date. Or you might have to cancel the entire application and then fill out a new form, pay another whatever again, and then start all over again. But I hope that it doesn't get that far. Okay,